just before we get into the actual video of the rifle, I just wanted to say something. Not long ago there was a guy who posted a comment, and it was, I can't remember on which video it was, but he posted a comment 20 seconds in and I'm still watching the intro or listening to the intro. I replied by saying, well, if you think the intro is too long, skip, use your mouse, skip, go further down the timeline to where the video begins. You know, you can navigate anywhere along the friggin' video. You don't have to sit there and watch the intro. I mean, quite honestly, if 20 seconds out of your life is way too long, or you find the intro boring, skip the intro, idiot. Anyway, so now watch the video. See ya. Hello again. Got a new gun, new rifle. I think I might have mentioned that I was getting it, but anyway, start off with, I'm having a beer. I've just gone and picked up the rifle, so it's been over 200 kilometre drive to get it. So I'm thirsty, and because I was drinking coffee all the way. I'm drinking Pilsner Urquell, or the proper name on the red shield is, supposed to be like a wax seal. The seal is Polzensky Prazdroj, which means Pilsen's product. So that's, and it was first brewed commercially in 1842. So before 1842 there was no such thing as lager beer, or a beer that looked like that at around 5%. Didn't exist. So all your bullshit crap, what are essentially just soda water beers, don't even come close to this. This is the original. They still brew it the same way in Pilsen in the Czech Republic, using huge oak barrels and huge oak vats, and nothing's changed. Like they're still in the 19th century as far as, you know, the high-tech brewers are concerned, like Germans and that. German breweries are just all high-tech, stainless, computer controlled, blah blah blah, and they sort of sneer at Polzensky Prazdroj, Pilsner Urquell, but the advantage that the Pilseners have is that, or the people from Pilsen, from the brewery have, is that they say, well, as is the original, and guess what? All your beers are just a copy of ours, with the exception of like dark beers and traditional beers and that. So let's have a tasty. It's quite a complex. They use a 5-strain yeast, so it's 5 different strains of yeast. They use slightly darker malt than what is traditionally Pilsner-ish or lager-ish beer. Yeah, it tastes completely different to anything else. Literally, very different. I love it. Some people just can't handle it. They just go, what is that? So anyway, to the subject at hand, and that is, now I currently own 2 Howas. Yeah, I currently own 2 Howas. 2 or 3? 2. And I've never owned a Weatherby Vanguard, because the Weatherby Vanguard is made by Howa in Japan, and then they ship the barreled actions to the United States. They get stocked up, they put into stock, Weatherby's own signature stock, and then they are sold as the Weatherby Vanguard. And I was always curious to actually compare the Weatherby Vanguard with the Howa. So this is actually the Vanguard 2. It's been around, I think, probably about 10 years now. Originally the Vanguard one was, I remember having a look at a few Vanguard ones, like people who were at the range and in gun shops and that. And I think the main difference between the Vanguard 1 and the Vanguard 2 is the trigger. My understanding is that the original Vanguards, the Vanguard ones, only had, it was a single, I think it was only a single stage trigger, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in comments. But I'm pretty sure it was only a 2-stage safety, so safe, fire. what from the reviews that I've had a look at, what it would appear that has happened is that Weatherby have said, yeah, we're going to change that trigger, and they're just getting Howa to put their HACT hack trigger in it, because I looked at a couple of reviews and it looked exactly the same. So now I'm going to find out if it is the Howa hack trigger that they've decided to go with, because the Howa hack trigger is actually quite nice. If you're not happy with the weight, I don't know what was in there, with the weight of the Howa trigger, I'll take the bolt out, then there are a few differences, and I'll point them out. If you're not happy with the weight of the Howa trigger, you can put another spring in it. Everything is gooped up with security. That security goop, whatever it is, it's sort of like a plastic goop. And I'll put a dot on it on the screws, so that if you have unscrewed it, they can tell and they can say, oh, your warranty's void, you know, whatever. You know what? I've never ever had any issues of any kind with any Howa that I've ever owned, or Howa made rifle that I've ever owned. Never. Any kind of issue, nothing, zero, zilch. And they pump thousands of these things out around the world, and there's only one person that I've ever heard make a complaint about the Howa bolt action, 1500 bolt action, and that was Aussie Reviews, and he reckoned that he had problems with the internal magazine. I don't know, he must have had a Friday gun or something. I've not experienced any problems with any part of the rifle. It's been made for a very long time. You know, Weatherby have been selling them for quite a while. I can't remember exactly when they started selling them. You'd have to look up, yeah, the Weatherby website to find that out. It's been decades. They've been selling them for decades. It was Roy Weatherby Jr.'s idea. I think it was Roy Weatherby Jr. And old man Roy didn't think much of the idea, but Roy Weatherby Jr. went, look, we can be a niche high-end rifle company, or we can sell a good quality cheaper firearm, and that's going to bring in the actual money that's going to pay the bills. And that's exactly what happened. He was right. The old man had to eat his words, and because he didn't think it was going to succeed, I don't think. But it proved to be a very sound business decision, because I think when they were looking around, what are we going to sell, yeah, Howa in Japan were definitely the way to go, because other companies have sold it under their brand. I think, who was it? Mossberg 1500, I think they sold it. Who else? I think Husqvarna sold it as a Husqvarna 1500. Correct me if I'm wrong again. Who else sold it? Smith & Wesson sold it as the Smith & Wesson 1500. Now I don't know if they had any actual modifications or they were just straight Howa barreled actions. So there's a bit of odd, something on the barrel. It's a satin finished stainless steel, pretty much a la Howa. And from what I can tell, let's see the bottom metals. The bottom metals are, am I correct? The bottom metals are exactly the same. The only difference is the Howa bottom metal has got Howa on it, and the Weatherby bottom metal has got nothing on it. So actually, I'm surprised. I would have thought they would have had Weatherby on there. But one of the other major differences is the stocks. They both come, so this is the base model, they both come in a synthetic stock. And the Hogues, it's this sort of rubbery, yeah, over-molded plastic with a sort of rubbery feel to it that are really, they're really quite good stocks. Okay, they're really cheap. They're only about $100, and but they've got alloy pillars in them, and you know, I've had success with accuracy with. I remember the 308 Sporter I had. That was shooting, you know, with I think with Aussie Outback 308 ammo. That was shooting an inch, just with the shitty stock in it, and yeah, amazing. Pardon me. Now, so there's nothing wrong with the hollow coconut sound when you tap on the Hogue, when you tap the buttstock on the Hogue. Let's have a listen to. No, that's so obviously the walls of the buttstock are much thicker. Now I'm going to take it out of the stock. One of the other different. Well, let's start off with bolts. I'll take the bolt out of the Howa. So I bought, this is a 3006 that I bought, 30-06 that I bought second hand, but it's in, you know, it shoots great. So the bolts, let's have a look. So they are, a bit of rust there. They are, stainless steel does rust. Yeah, I've got a bit of rust in the bolt handle. Obviously where my grubby fingers have been. Stainless steel does rust. It's not, there's no such thing, you know, when I was in trade school they taught us there is no such thing as stainless steel, there is stainless steel, and 100% correct. That is absolutely true. Just a second, I'll just grab a rag to clean that rust off with. So even though stainless, what's called stainless steel, is yes, it needs much less effort to stay stain free. It still has carbon steel in it, and if it's got carbon steel and you don't do anything at all to take care of it, it will rust. All right. If you leave stainless steel out in the weather, it will eventually rust. It won't rust as quickly as carbon steel, but it will rust. So, the two... Now, so what they have done is where the sear, when it's cocked, the what's it called, what you call it, the bit that engages the sear, the trigger sear. What they've done with the oh yeah, I see. So the rear bolt shroud is totally encased on the Vanguard, whereas on the Howa it's hollow. All right. So when that's flush, that's cocked. With this different bolt, it's still stainless. With this different bolt shroud, or is it alloy? I'm not sure. It feels like alloy. Might be alloy bolt shroud. With the Vanguard, you've actually got an extension on it that pokes out. So you know that when that's poking out, that bit is poking out, you know that that's cocked. Okay, so half dozen, one or the other. The other two, there's a couple of other differences with the bolts. Everything's exactly the same except for, okay. So the vent holes, where the vent holes are and the size of them is slightly different. So here there's one vent hole, when it's sitting in its natural plane, there's one vent hole there, whereas on the Weatherby there's three. Then we go over, and with the Weatherby we've got one vent hole at the bottom and three on the Howa. So what happens is if there's a rupture or something with the Howa, the gases go down in the magazine. With the Weatherby, the gases go out the side of the bolt and aren't shot down in the magazine. Where Yeah. I don't know. Personal preference. I don't know. Yeah. I suppose Weatherby figured that might be a feature of the Mark V. I'm not sure, pardon me. I haven't done enough research. Now, the other thing is that the Weatherby has straight fluting. Yeah. Doesn't mean squat to me. And the other thing that I do like about the Weatherbys is the bolt handle has got like the knob has got a slightly, is it the same? Yeah, the bolt knob are exactly the same profile, geometry, but with the Weatherby they bothered to put knurling on it, which I like, because the Howas, they don't put anything on it, it's just straight clean steel. Yeah, that's good or bad. I do prefer knurling. My neighbour is angry. Yeah, let's see who's in here. Now, I'm going to take this out of the what else? The swivel studs, swivel studs are just black steel, which if you're going to have stainless, go stainless all the way. Come on, Weatherby, you can afford that. So I'll take this out of the stock, because one of the big differences is that there are two schools of the Weatherby and the Howa are in two different schools of thought with regard to seating the rifle in the stock. With the Howa, they are all free-floating barrels, so no part of the stock is touching the barrel until pretty much the recoil lug. Different school of thought with the Weatherby. The Weatherby stock, there's a section of about, let's see, there's a section of about, I don't know, it's probably about 4 inches of where the stock is sort of squeezed in and actually touches the barrel either side, which I've never seen that before. That's interesting. The other thing I'm led to believe is that there's actually a point where in the stock, just like a stud or something, that impinges on the barrel. So we'll open it up and have a look, because I'm interested to see what the story is. That's not good. Yeah, that wasn't torqued very stiffly. The other thing about the Weatherby barrel is that or the Weatherby stock is that there's no bedding of any kind at all. There's nothing. There's no pillars. There's nothing. But it's very clean inside, and it looks like it's been really well done. I don't know who made this stock or who makes this stock, but yeah, it's one of. See how stiff it is? Yeah, that's really stiff. This is one of the better synthetic stocks that I've ever seen. Probably doesn't come as close as, probably not far off the Steyr stock. That Steyr stock was really, yeah, something else. Now, let's have a look at this. Yeah, so that is a Howa hack trigger. Okay, simple as that. That's a Howa trigger. So maybe, yeah, I don't know, might be a little bit different. Yeah, but that looks like a hack trigger. It's definitely 2-stage. Just take this out of its stock and just have a look at exactly what's going on. Move those to one side. Yeah, this is very interesting, because I don't know, people have said to me, oh yeah, I don't really like the Howas, but I like the Weatherbys, and I've gone like, well, it's the same rifle, and they've gone, well, no, it's not. So there is definitely difference. Yeah, so that was talked up a fair bit more. That was talked up by me, I think. So the bottom metals, yeah. Let's have a look at the bottom metals, see if they are exactly the same. I'll put this in my lap. They are. Yeah. They're exactly the same. Exactly the same. Yeah, so they set up stock. So yeah, the Hogue, even though the Hogue is not as stiff as the Weatherby, it's not too bad though. It's not as bad as some. Okay, so let's have a look at this thing. Let's have a look at the trigger, and the trigger is a Howa hack trigger. One interesting to note is that there's no security paste on the trigger adjustment screw on the Weatherby, but there is on the Howa. That's a bit odd, but otherwise that is. I'll go get a trigger pull gauge because I'm interested to see what the difference is between the two, because this obviously this Howa 30-06, no one has adjusted the I'm assuming that no one's adjusted the trigger because it's still got the security paste on it, but the Vanguard doesn't have that security paste on it. I'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, got the trigger pull gauge clear, ready. Let's have a look at the Vanguard. I think that should be cocked. It can't be cocked because it hasn't got the. So that's the Weatherby. So this is. Okay. So this is out of the box. Trigger pull weight. Go to fire. It's out of the box trigger pull weight. Damn it. Clear. Ready. That is 3 pounds, 7.7 ounces. So they're all cock and open. Clear. Let's try again. 3 pounds, 7.5 ounces. We'll do one more. 3 pounds, 7.7 ounces. So that's very, sorry about the sweat. It's still really humid and it shouldn't be. That's very consistent. So that's 3.5 pounds, which it's okay. Let's see. What about the old Howa? See what that does. Are we on fire? Yes, we are. So that's 2 pounds, 14 ounces. Okay. Now, £3. So I'll do one more. So 3 pounds, 4.6 ounces. That's sort of all over the place, but you're looking at about 3 pounds on the Howa. You're looking at about 3.5 pounds or more. Yeah, about 3.5 pounds on the Weatherby, which is 3.5 pounds. You know, that's that is fine. So put that back in there. This is one of the things that I like about the Howas, the Howa 1500 design, is that it is such a nice rifle to work on. Everything's, you don't have weird ass like yeah, the Ruger's great, but you know, the bottom metal screws and just, you know, this is what I like. You got 2 screws. You got a really easy bottom metal to work on. You've got a really easy bolt that you can take apart. Now, smoothness. So this is a second-hand rifle, so it's probably not a fair comparison, but that's smooth, and just physically feeling the trigger, that's fine. You know, might seem heavy, 4 pounds, whatever, but no, that's good. More beer. Now, the Weatherby. Like I said, the stock is very, very well made. It's really nice, and I can see. Is there a mark? Does it leave a mark? Does it leave a mark? Yeah, it's just so that. No, you can see that there is supposed to impinge on the barrel. I don't know if it even touches it. It's hard to tell. Where is that? There are the screws there and there. I can't actually. Oh yeah, I can see just a bit of a mark, I think. I don't know. So, le Vanguard. I know a lot of people, like one of the guys at the gun shop who I deal with, Dave, he said, yeah, I got 2 of them. I think they're great. It's always nice to hear when the people selling the product actually own the product, and he's not a bullshit artist. He tells me like it is. We've known each other a few years now, so yeah. So that's torqued up nicely, nice and tight. Okay, so that is the Weatherby Vanguard in 270. You might say, oh well, you've already got 270s. Well, I got rid of I'll be honest with you, I got rid of the Steyr. And I'll tell you why. Number one, it wasn't stainless. Yeah, the finish on it was seemed like really robust and durable and rust free, but it's still not stainless, number one. Number two, I like having spare magazines, because if the magazine you're using breaks, well, that's the end of that. And they're proprietary magazines, which another thing I don't like. I don't like proprietary magazines. If you're going to put a magazine on a rifle, make it AI pattern, right? Which is not necessarily the best, but it's a standard that you don't have to buy a different magazine for every bloody rifle if you want a spare magazine. Now, the other thing about the magazine for the Steyr, that was in 270, is that one spare magazine costs $190. $190. The rifle only cost $800. I mean, I know where Steyr are making their money. So that's a few reasons why I got rid of it. The other reason is that I saw this in the shop, and it was on special for $890 Australian. Now, these are normally about the Weatherby Vanguard is normally over $1,000. Okay, in this configuration, stainless steel, yeah, I couldn't really go past that one. It wasn't a straight swap. I actually sold the Steyr at another gun store where I sell them on consignment. But yeah, I'm not really interested in having a whole collection of 270s. Two's plenty. So that feels a bit rough. There's not much oil in it, but so what I'll do is I'll be back in a sec. I've got to get. Oh no, it's just the special oil that I use. Sorry for going off screen. As far as lubricating, actual lubricating with lubricating oil, this is what I use, TF2 Ultimate, made by Weatherby. Where's Weatherby? Weatherby's in... Weatherby is, looks like a British company, but so this has got Teflon in it. This is I was put on. I said this before. I was put on this by a triathlete friend of mine. I used to be a triathlete. Probably too old now. This is what they all used on their bikes because they reckoned that it was the best. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the rails of the slot. Just a little bit of that, and makes a massive difference. Yeah. So I'm just put a bit. You know, I know I've heard people say, "Oh, you shouldn't put oil on your locking lugs and yeah, whatever." I'll just do a spray. How's that? Yeah. Oh, that stuff's not really cheap, but it's very, very good. It's very, very effective. Let's see if that's... there's a little bit of smoothing out to happen, which will happen with time, but generally speaking, you can't do that. You're gonna be cycling ammo like there's nobody's business. So yeah, it's fine. Now, let's yeah, that's sweet. That's nice. Now, I do have 2 brands of ammo, factory ammo, and I'll have a little talk about this factory ammo. I've got 2 brands of factory ammo that I'm going to try out in it, and then I'll make up some hand loads. I haven't made any hand loads up yet because I've got to measure the throat on it, see how far away I can have the projectile, or how far out I can have the projectile. Pardon me, a little bit more beer. Now, so one of the factory ammos that I'll try is the Celery and Bellow 130 grain, the round nose soft point. These things, this ammo is fantastic. It is like the best out of the Steyr and the Voer, the Foda. That did the best, better than any other ammo. Now, I was at the shop and I said, because this thing's got a 1-inch, 3-shot group sub-MOA guarantee with premium ammo. So I was at the shop and I said, have you got any 270 premium ammo? And they said, this. So this is, and I've never had a lot of time for Remington ammunition, but yeah, this is the only 270 premium ammo that I could get. So it's Remington Premier Accu-Tip. So this is supposed to be premium ammo. Now, okay. So the Remington Premier Accu-Tip ammo, I measured the comparative overall length, so not the actual overall length from tip to tip, from end to end, but the comparative. So you use a comparator because the tips, there might be slight differences. So the comparative overall length of this, because this is twice as much as the Celery and Bellow ammo. Like literally, this, yeah, the Premier Accu-Tip is 79 and the Celery and Bellow is what, 38. Yeah, twice as expensive, but it's Premier. Well, let's have a look. The comparative overall length spread was between 2.65 inches and 2.701 inches, so a 26 thou spread over. So the bullets, the seating depth, there's a difference of 26 thou. For what you call premier ammunition or premium ammunition, no. That's Remington, again, your ammunition sucks. The concentricity, man, it was all over the place. I had, it's because I've got a concentricity gauge, right, to measure, and this is measured on probably about 4 mil out from the end of the throat on the ogive of the projectile. So I had none at 1 thou run out, 1 at 2 thou run out, 5 at 3 thou run out, 5 at 4 thou run out, 4 at 5 thou run out, and 5 at 6 thou run out. So, as far as like expensive premium ammo is concerned, that's crap. Alright, Remington? You're making crap and selling it as premier. That's bullshit. Whereas, so I thought, wow, that's really bad. Let me have a look at this El Cheapo Celery and Bellow ammo. The comparative overall spread was only 5 thou. So the seating depth, out of 20 rounds, there was only a spread of 5 thou. There was 1 at 2.972, 7 at 2.973, 5 at 2.974, 5 at 2.975, 1 at 2.976, 1 at 2.977. So there were only the majority. So how many is that? 10, 7, 17 out of the 20 rounds had only a 3 thou spread difference in run out. So that shits on the double the price Remington ammo. That's crap. Now the concentricity run out on the Celery and Bellow. There was one again on the ogive, 1 at 1 thou, 3 at 2 thou, 3 at 3 thou, 9 at 4 thou, 3 at 5 thou, and 1 at 6 thou, which is much better. Again, you know, you had half of them, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's, again, that's better than the Remington. So that's shit. That's shit. That Remington Premier AccuTip Premium ammo is not worth it. Don't bother buying it. I don't know, it might shoot the lights out, but I seriously doubt it with those sort of variables. And I know I bag Winchester ammo, made by Ireland, and I bag Remington ammo, but there's a reason for it. I don't hang shit on product because I've just got some irrational hatred for it. It's because it turns out it just, you know, it works crap. You know, it performs shit. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Against the trigger. Yeah, that's sweet. It's not as, I don't reckon that's as crisp as the Howa. Nah, it's the same. It's the same trigger. Should be the same. This is my imagination. So, I'm very, very keen to go and shoot this. I was supposed to shoot it today after I'd gotten it. After I'd gotten it first, you know, when the shop opens at 8:30 in the morning, I was going to drive straight to the range and shoot this. And what else? My 310 Cadet and my Martini Enfield 303, testing some ammo. Again, but the range is shut because there's more state competitions going on. So, and all weekend and Monday, so I can't go there. So, what I intend to do, there used to be a range, a little small range that I used to go to, and I'll go there tomorrow. Hopefully they'll be open. I'll see if I can get a hold of someone to check. I'll go there tomorrow and I'll test this out. Yeah. Again, yeah, the stock is definitely of a high quality, but there's no pillars in it. Made in Japan, Howa, Weatherby, Sheridan, Wyoming, Vanguard. Use only 270 win. Yeah, that makes sense. They could have just had 270 win on it. So safe, nothing happens. Middle position, nothing happens, but you can cycle, and forward, you can fire. So, yeah, that's a Howa hack trigger. I'm not sure what the thinking behind that was, of switching the trips to the Howa hack trigger. I think it's a good trigger, so yeah, I think it's a positive move. So the only real main difference is the rear bolt shroud, which is alloy. I can see that it's alloy. I hope it's not plastic. Yeah, that's alloy. That's really the only, physically the only, yeah, the flutes in the barrel, the vent holes go outside rather than down into the magazine. Yeah. what can you say? It's a Howa. One thing I will say is that, so yeah, I mean the stock is a, what do they call it? A Monte Carlo. Yeah. If you call something Monte Carlo, it goes faster. They could have called it the Daytona, which would be more appropriate, because you know, I seriously doubt that anyone who has ever lived in Monte Carlo or currently lives in Monte Carlo has ever had a rifle with this stock in it. It would have been a typical European schnabel, you know, for it. So, sum up. I'm actually gonna take, because I do like the tallies. I think that's tallies, or it might be. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just take that whole scope ring and base them out, set off, and then chuck it on this rifle. I do have other. Yeah, so that's just that's for a short action, isn't it? Yep. No, that's not gonna do. I do have bases, and there's some more bases, and I do have rings. Well, here I could put these on. This is I might actually put these on. Yeah, this is. I got all 4 screws. Yep. So these are what's it called? Bushnell rings and bases. Not a huge fan of the Bushnell rings and bases, and these are rusty. But I do like steel. What are they making out of stainless steel? I don't know. No, I think I'll just, because that's alloy. Yeah, nice and light. So I'll put that on there. Yeah, because the stock is so much, it is beefier. It does weigh a little bit more. I can tell just by lifting it. That with the scope on it weighs about the same as this. I can just tell. So anyway, rambled on enough. Until I come back from the range and test this out, I'll see you later.